So anyway, it's time to move on because there's a couple of other things I want to get to before I get to your tweets as well. There are a few NBA players that I hold in higher regard than my boy, Hall of Famer Allen Iverson. I've said this on many occasions. He actually gets mad at me when I say this, but it's true. I wouldn't be where I am today if it were not for him. When you are in this business that I'm in, it helps to have somebody to talk about. And as nightmarish as he made my vacations on far too many occasions, because he always got his ass in trouble when I was on vacation. It was never when I was working. When I was working, he played basketball and there would just be stuff that happened in the locker room or something. But every single incident that he's gotten into off the court is when I was on vacation. I mean, he was just famous for it. It was just automatic. I couldn't catch a break. I always mess with him for that because he always messed with me on my vacations. But everybody knows that he's like my little brother. I love him to death. And, that don't mean we always agree. Just like I said about my man, Ryan Clark. And Allen Iverson opened his mouth and, dare I say, said something that was blasphemous. Blasphemous. He was being interviewed by my former colleague at ESPN, Rachel Nichols, who I wish nothing but the best for, by the way, in her future endeavors. And he recently gave his thoughts on who he believes to be the greatest players in NBA history. Michael Jordan was number one. No problem there. Totally agree with him. I get it. Allen Iverson, does he have LeBron James number two? No. Does he have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a 19-time All-Star, 6-time champion, a 6-time MVP? Does he have him as number two? No. Who does Allen Iverson have as number two all time in NBA history? It's Kobe Bryant. Ladies and gentlemen, Kobe and I did not have the kind of relationship that Allen Iverson and I have. It was pretty damn close. For a media member, if you knew some of the conversations that Kobe Bryant and I shared with one another, you'd realize we were friends. That was my man. I miss him every day. I love him to death. And I'm so sad every time his name comes up because I'm reminded of the fact that he's gone. Gone but never forgotten. But Kobe Bryant is not the second greatest player in NBA history. That's just not true. It's just not. It's just not. And the points per game didn't equal LeBron's. The assists didn't equal LeBron's. The rebounds didn't equal LeBron's. The durability didn't equal LeBron's. He's got more rings, but we can't ignore the fact that the first three came with Shaq in his prime, meaning the most dominant force of our era, and next to Wilt Chamberlain, one of the top two most dominant figures in the history of basketball. That dude, the 7'1", 350-pound diesel. Okay? The big Aristotle. That dude. All of that. That dude. Shaq. Three of Kobe's rings came with Shaq. Now, Shaq didn't win without him. Shaq didn't win with Penny Hardaway and Nick Anderson and Dennis Scott and those brothers. He didn't win the title with them. He didn't win when he initially arrived in LA and it was Eddie Jones and those brothers. It took Kobe. I get it. I get it. And Kobe, on a mission to prove his worth, wanting Shaq gone and wanting the reins handed over to him by the late, great Dr. Jerry Buss, took the bull by the horn, was given a garbage team, led the league in scoring, ultimately won a league MVP award, And oh, by the way, in the process of doing all of that, went to 3 consecutive NBA finals and went back-to-back titles in 09 and 10. Beating Orlando with Dwight Howard and then ultimately Boston with KG, Ray Allen, Perk, Rondo, Paul Pierce. The truth shall make you free. Not set you free, make you free. That's truth. I know who Kobe is. I know who Kobe was. I know what Kobe meant and will forever mean to the game of basketball. And top 10 all time, no doubt about it. But he ain't top 2. Come on, y'all. Kobe Bryant was second place to Michael Jordan. He tried like crazy to be MJ. To ultimately beat MJ. But couldn't do it. MJ had 6 rings, he had 5. I know it's one more than LeBron. LeBron didn't have Shaq as a teammate. Kyrie and Kevin Love, okay. D-Wade, Bosh, Ray Allen, okay. But you have to also look at the totality. Kobe was a menace. He was a killer, like AI said. That's why AI gave him that love, because that assassin's mentality. That's what AI loved so much. That's what he kept alluding to. That's what he brought up when he spoke about his support for Kobe Bryant as the number 2 player of all time, because that's what Iverson relates to. You know why? Because Iverson was a killer. Wasn't scared of anybody. I mean, if there is a class that Allen Iverson could give, I got news for you. It is not just in crossover dribbling. It's in courage. This brother was scared of nothing. Land of giants, he was coming for you. That was AI. And his quote during the sit down with Rachel Nichols, he says, I've never seen anybody as competitive as him, as in Kobe, but Mike. You know, when people talk about the best players in the world, I say Mike, and then I say Kobe, and then everybody else. Because Iverson is talking about that killer instinct. And I get where Iverson's coming from. You know why? Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask y'all a rhetorical question? What if Kevin Durant had Iverson's killer instincts? Do you think he would only have 2 titles? I don't. Kevin Durant, first of all, he would have won. Well, we can't say the 3-peat because that was the Achilles, because he would have won 3-peat anyway. They'd have swept the Toronto Raptors and Kawhi, and they took him out 4 games if Kevin Durant had never gotten hurt. But let's take out those 2 titles. I'm telling you right now, Kevin Durant would have at least 4 titles if he had Iverson's killer instincts. If the Kevin Durant we saw in that game 5 where he dropped 49 against Milwaukee when Kyrie Irving went down about 3 years ago in the postseason, if that Kevin Durant showed up on a night in, night out basis, they'd have more titles. That's right, I said it. It's the truth. I'm not throwing any shade on Kevin Durant because he's one of the great ones. Mad love and respect for him. I'm simply talking about not so much a desire to do things the right way, but a desire to kill, to annihilate, to destroy. That's Kevin Durant. That's the Kevin Durant I know and love. That dude right there, if he was that person on a night in, night out basis, if he had Allen Iverson's demeanor about scoring the basketball, because Kevin Durant could do it in his sleep, imagine what he would be. That's why I say stuff like that. I understand exactly where Iverson's coming from, but he's not right when he says Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant could defend. Kobe Bryant could play point. Kobe Bryant could do it all. But his signature was scoring and being an assassin. And oh, by the way, as much as he could shoot, wasn't a better 3-point shooter than LeBron. If you look at the totality of LeBron's career. Didn't go to 10 NBA finals. Wasn't the complete overall package on both sides of the ball that LeBron James is as a playmaker, not just a scorer. Kobe could do it, but it wasn't his MO. You cannot put him number 2 over LeBron. You cannot put him number 2 over Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You just can't. Now, after that, bottom line is this. Here's the bottom line. Kobe Was number 2 to MJ as a 2 guard. And he might be number 2 as a Laker to Irvin Magic Johnson, depending on who you ask. Because here's the difference. Let's say Shaq was with Magic. Magic and Shaq would not have had that on-court relationship that Kobe and Shaq ended up having. Shaq would have wanted to stay, and Magic would have wanted him to stay. And they'd have made it work. Leadership's a part of it. Now, Kobe evolved into being a great leader because he was big on accountability. But let's bump the brakes now. When we call him number 2 all time. Can't give him that. I just can't.